Hey everyone, this is Matt, and in today's video we're going to be doing a very special unboxing for you today. So, first things first, some people might be wondering or have asked, where have you been? Or like, where have I been, right? Why have I not been dropping as many videos? What's with these random ass like image posts? Why is my video scheduling, um, you know, uh, less frequent than before? Did I sell out now that I've hit 1,000 subscribers and I'm now funded by ads on Google AdSense? No, I'm not. I haven't not sold out. I do want to keep making videos. The only issue is that life happens, right? So I've just been a little busier lately. That's the only reason I haven't been making as many videos. Hopefully, after if I can get over the hurdle this next week, I'll be able to pick up and put out some videos. So videos I'm planning, I still want to do deck roasts of the Eldritch decks that were played at YCS. I want to do ban list predictions. I want to do a lot of things, right? So I do have plans and things on the horizon. So today's unboxing was two things. First, my two forbidden droplets finally arrived, right? Um, Now I told you on my Dark Magician deck profile video, my 50 card one, that I was waiting for these two to come in. I ordered these from Europe. They finally came in, right? So it's been like 3-4 weeks. It feels like it's been forever, right? Yeah, so we're going to be taking a look at how these two compare with the one that I pulled off a random. So I do have a third one, which is currently my Dark Magician deck. I pulled it from a random Battle of Chaos or Brothers of Legend pack. So we'll see how the European print compares to the US print for those of you who haven't seen before. And then we're going to be doing unboxing of three, that's right, three Albaz Strike Structure decks. So I did get the Structure decks. I pre-ordered them back when they were like $9 each or something. They finally came in today, and yeah, so I'll be doing unboxing of those. I'll be talking a little bit about how Brandon and Despy are going to play into Dark Magician, and I'm going to quickly throw together using just these three structure decks that I got in the mail. A playable deck that might actually be able to do something competitively, right? You'll probably get you some wins at your locals. If y'all are wondering why it's been a while since I've done Dark Magician, I've been playing primarily Eldritch lately. I do plan on switching back to Dark Magician. The reason being is Eldritch is it's no longer cool to play Eldritch because everyone's playing it. So, a deck that I used to be one of the few people at my locals to play it. Now I went to my last locals, which by the way I went undefeated. So I did go undefeated in my last locals with my Eldritch deck this last weekend. Yeah, everyone's playing Eldritch. There's too much Eldritch everywhere. It's really annoying to see. So I'll probably be making the switch back to Dark Magician very soon, simply because it's just not cool to play Eldritch anymore. Because everyone's doing it. All the meta sheep have been herded towards us. But it is nice to see that every locals game I saw, and there were a lot of them, where there was pure Eldritch versus Cybers Eldritch, pure Eldritch always won. So that made me really happy. So anyway, all right. So let's begin with our forbidden droplets. So these are already not in the envelope anymore. So we're just going to be taking a slight look at them. So I'm gonna take my Dark Magician deck here. Let's pull out my other droplets. So we got to replace these filthy chalices, right? The sad thing about these droplets, so I bought these droplets, in Europe because the price of them in the U.S. are way too high, in my opinion. And then last 3 or 4 weeks, guess what happened while I was waiting for them to arrive? They were announced that they're going to be getting reprints in the 2022 Megatons in September, which I already pre-ordered a case of, by the way. So yeah, so that's going to be happening. Which means that we're probably finally going to have an ultra rare printing of it, and the price of it is probably going to drop significantly, and it'll finally be accessible. There's no way this card is that good to justify $100 or $120 or whatever it was last time. Anyway, all right, so let's compare here the U.S. prints with the European print. So let's get rid of these chalices. Don't need these anymore. And focus on these. Okay, so this is the U.S. print that's already in the deck, right? So I do want to keep these inner sleeve. Let me get inner sleeves for these. For those of you at home, do not pay $100 for this card, or however much it is now. Wait till the reprint in the Megatons. Yeah, I already feel like a sucker for buying these. All right, cool. So let's see what the difference is here. So not a lot of people are familiar with the different printings, U.S. print versus Euro print. But just to emphasize the differences here, alright, so here we have, ooh, it is a huge difference. Oh my goodness. just from touching it, I could already tell there's a huge difference. All right, first off, the thing that sticks out to me the most, and I hope it sticks out to y'all. Uh, so the main difference between U.S. European print and U.S. print is that the ink used is darker. All right. So this is the U.S. print. You can kind of tell here that the black and like the grays are not as dark as they are here. Right? It's like hard to see. We'll have to put them side by side. Yeah, it's a very obvious difference, like in person anyway, over this camera, which is a not great camera. So the one here on the left is a European print. If you look at the wings, you focus on the wings, the black is a deeper black than the wing on the right one, which is a US print. And also you can kind of see like on the bottom of the card, right, the on the mounds or whatever, like the gray is not as dark either. Also, you can tell the corners of the card, right, like the border. So the border for the European print is definitely noticeably darker than the one on the US print. And one thing that's most noteworthy is the thickness of the card. So this European print card is way thicker. See that thickness right there? Versus a US print card, which is noticeably thinner. I'm trying to like put these like side by side so you can see like there's a noticeable thickness difference. So yeah, and I can feel it in the weight too. It's like minuscule amount of like ounces or milligrams or whatever metric you want to use. But yeah, the European version of the card is definitely thicker, heavier, and because of that, it feels less likely to bend, right? Like, see how straight these are? There's almost no bend on these at all. Whereas the US print, which I barely even use that much of, has like, well, it's not that bent either, but like it feels more flimsy. It definitely feels thinner. See that thinness? Yeah, you could. It's way more obvious in person, but hopefully you were able to catch some of that on the camera. Yeah. All right, so there we have it. We have our playset of Forbidden Droplet. These are going to go directly into my Dark Magician decks, right? Oops, ooh, wrong sleeve. Sorry, those are the big sleeves. So we want these inner sleeves here. Honestly, I think these would look better in Ultra Rare than Secret Rare. Spells typically look better in Ultra over Secret because of the gold lettering. Better emphasizes the difference between a common and a hollow. Anyway. Yeah, Secrets are more sparkly. Alright, so we have the three here. Now let's put them into outer sleeves. This one's a little stuck. So, one second, let me get it. Ooh, look at that. Slides in. Alright, so these new ones are sliding in very smoothly. Because they're like straight AF. Like there's no bend on the card whatsoever. These are just sliding right in. Look at that. Don't even need a second card. Alright. Pretty nice. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be sticking with 50 cards. Even after I do plan on some future changes. Stay tuned for a video on that. Where I will be basically trying to incorporate the branded stuff. For those of you who aren't sure what to do with the branded, one thing you could do is, which I've thought about, is replace the Red Eyes Insight package with the branded Fusion package, right? So the branded Fusion package is 4 cards. It's branded Fusion, 3 of them, Fallen of Albaz, 1 of them, and then I guess in the extra deck you need Lubellion, right? It's the Light Dragon that comes in the Stucture deck. And then, yeah, that replaces the 3 Red Eyes Insight and the 1 Red Eyes Wyvern. So I definitely think, just off the bat, like that's probably the best change to make. And you still have space for 3 super poly targets, so yeah, it's still good. All right, so let's get into the main event here. which is unboxing the Albaz Structure deck. Albaz Strike Structure decks. Alright, so here we go. So let's see if I can get this bad boy open here. There we go. Come on. Oh. Oh, baby. Oh, look at that. Look at that beauty. Damn, I forgot how big these structure deck boxes were. I thought they were smaller. Or maybe this one's bigger. I don't know. I swear I bought the, whoops. What am I doing? I swear I bought the Sacred Beast structure decks, and I do not recall the box being this big. These are some big boxes. Alright, so let's see what it says here. So, Tri-Brigade, Dogmatica, Spriggans, Sword Souls. Alright. 3 of 4 cancerous archetypes. Actually, Dogmatica is not that cancerous. But Tri-Brigade and Sword Soul, absolutely. Spriggans, whatever. Alright, so don't need this box cutter anymore. Alright, so we have the deck list. Comes with the playmat too. Ooh, maybe I'll use this playmat. Alright, so let's pop this open here. It's pretty. Yeah, this is considered to be like one of the best structure decks in a long time, right? Some say of all time. I haven't been around Yu-Gi-Oh long enough to know, but I do recall there was a Monarch structure deck. I was not around for that, but apparently 3 Monarch structure deck was out the box right, like a competitive deck. I don't know if this one will be, even with the deck profile we make today. Alright, so here we have it. Ooh, look how new those cards look. Everything is so nicely pressed. Alright, so let's open this here. Alright, so that is trash. Alright, so what is this Tri-Brigade Mercurier? Wing Beast. When your opponent activates a monster while you control fusion monster dimensions following Albaz's material, you can send this card from hand and negate that effect. So this is basically an... Yeah, so this negates monster effects but does not destroy. So, could have been better, I suppose. Not great. Yeah, definitely don't see a Tri-Brigade deck ever running this. You can add this, negate that effect. If this card is banished, you can add from your deck to your hand one fallen out, one monster dimensions fall it except for... Okay, that's pretty cool. So this is our first ultra rare. Not really sure why that's an ultra rare, but okay. Springen's Kit. Also, I forgot to sniff these cards. Like, ooh, this is like the new card smell. I know people like to meme on Team Sam about the sniffing, but honestly, like, fresh out the factory, right? Fresh out the box trading cards, definitely smell really, really good. By the way, this card here has a little nick right there. See that? So it already came damaged. Springen's Kit. I wonder if this is related to Tri-Brigade Kit. If you have a fusion monster dimension falling out on your field or graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, if this card normal, you can add to your hand one of your branded spell traps that are banished or in your deck or graveyard. Place one card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. Okay, that's pretty cool. So you can essentially search branded fusion if you already have one of your fusion monsters. Although you can only summon one. The Golden Sword Soul. What's with these weird, random ultras? When a monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, negate that attack. Then, if you control Fallen Albaz, you can destroy the monster declaring an attack. If a monster is banished face up, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard or field. Special summon one light spellcaster monster from your hand or graveyard whose attack equals its own defense. So is that supposed to be like a searcher for Ecclesia or something? Like light spellcaster. I guess this could also search Fleur-de-Lis, probably. Whatever. All right, here is the bad boy. All right, so let me put these in a pile here. So this is one of the major big polls that people have been waiting for. Mirror Jade, the Ice Blade Dragon. So this bad boy is gonna be popping up a lot, right? So look at that quality. Very nice. So fusion between Fallen Albaz and one fusion Synchro XCs or Link Monster. You can only control one Mirror Jade Ice Blade, the Ice Blade Dragon once returned. Quick effect, you can send one fusion monster extra to the graveyard and mention Fallen Albaz. Shield banish one monster field. Also this card cannot use this effect next turn. So this is not hard once per turn. This is hard. This is not hard once per turn. This is hard once every 2 turns. Actually, also this card cannot. Wait, so correct me if I'm wrong. So I don't see anything that says you can only use the effect of this monster once. Oh no, it says here once per turn. Okay, there's a once per turn. All right, so if it does get negated, you cannot use it again on the same turn. Level 8 worm. Why is this a worm and not a dragon? We'll never know. All right, Lubellion, the Searing Dragon. So this is the one that you would play with your Branded Fusion package, because it can shuffle Albaz and Dark Magician from your graveyard back into your deck to summon Dragoon. One Dark Monster, one Fallen Albaz. If this monster card's fusion time, you can discard 1 card. Yeah, that's the main thing I don't like. You have to discard a card. I don't like it. And discards for cost too. Fusion summon a level 8 or lower fusion monster. A shuffling. Materials, okay. Or face up banished cards. For the rest of the turn, this card cannot attack. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters. Alright, so these are the 5 ultra rares. And finally, Branded Fusion. This is the card that people really were interested in. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster mentioned Fallen Albaz as a material from your extra deck. And 2 monsters from your hand deck or field distribute materials. You cannot set some monster in extra deck except fusion monsters the turn you activate this card. So this locks you into fusions. Although one thing that that's really cool about this card, so this card can make Dragoon, right? Because you play Branded Fusion, you send Dark Magician Albaz to the graveyard, and you make Lubellion. On summon, Lubellion activates effect, discard a card, shuffle Dark Magician Albaz back in your deck to make Dragoon. So yeah, Branded Fusion is another 1 card Dragoon. It is also a 1 card Dark Magician Dragonite, which is something we have not had before, right? And a cool thing about this card, if you play hard activate Branded Fusion and they ask you, you can hard activate Red Eyes Fusion and it'll go through. And actually, I think you can activate a second one of these. No, you can't, because the restriction says you can only activate 1 Branded Fusion per turn. Yeah. So if you have Red Eyes Fusion, so let's say you have 3 Branded Fusion, 3 Red Eyes Fusion, you play Branded Fusion. If they don't ash you or negate you, it goes through. Maybe you get Dragoon. If they do ash you, you can then play Red Eyes Fusion and get Dragoon, right? So this is a pretty nice. Yeah, that's something I realized recently. This is a very nice ash bait. Alright, so let's go to the next super rare. Branded Sword. Banish any monster of number branded spell traps in your graveyard, special that many Ice Blade tokens. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of your banished monsters that is fallen out or mentions it. Add that monster to your hand. You can only use 1 Branded Sword effect per turn. Okay, not bad. Branded Retribution. Counter trap. When a spell trap monster effect is activated, it includes an effect that special summons a monster. Return to the extra deck 1 face-up fusion monster you control or 2 fusion monsters in your graveyard. Mention Fallen Albaz material. And if you do, negate the activation. So this is basically like an Omni-Negate. And if you do that, destroy that card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 Branded self-trap in graveyard, except Branded Retribution added to your hand. Not bad, not bad. So, alright, now for the comments. Fallen of Albaz. Required. Albion the Shadow Dragon. Fleur-de-Lis. Look at this value. Red Eyes, Darkness, Metal Dragon. What a world we live in where not only is this card at 3 now, Is it at 3? It's at 3 in the OCG. I forget if the TCG put it at 3, but I want to say it is. A kaiju, right? Like imagine you're like a first time Yu-Gi-Oh player, or like you're just getting back into the game, and this is a structure deck you buy. Like Albaz is great. You can essentially super poly. Like this has an on summon effect that fuses monsters on your opponent's field, right? Fleur de Lis, a 2500 body. Yep. Darkness Metal can revive dragons every once per turn. A kaiju, right? Chaos Dragon Levianeer. Great summon. Another kaiju. Artifact Scythe. Broken card. This card needs to be banned. The fact that this is in the structure deck, some say decreases the chance that it will be banned in the next ban list. I have hope for, although that's a reasonable argument, but I still think that this can be banned, right? And if this is not banned, then Artifact Dagda absolutely should be banned. Like, a searchable floodgate, like, that's too powerful. Imagine if Summon Limit or Skill Drain were searchable. It'd be insane, right? White Dragon Wyvern Buster, Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, Starly Safer. So you have, like, not only do you have, like, a Fallen of Albaz core in here, like a branded core, you have some pretty solid Dragon Link stuff in here, right? Safer, Collapse Serpent, Wyvern Buster, Levianeer. Like, these are all cards you can run in a Dragon Link deck. Keeper Dragon Magic, right? Summoner Monk, Ghost Ogre, a hand trap, 2 hand traps. Blah blah. Omni Dragon Brotar. Some Dragon Link decks like to run this. Branded Lost. This is like a Magical Meltdown, except it's not a field spell and it doesn't search your Aluber or your Alistair. Branded in White. This is the one that fusion summons from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including a dragon. You can banish monsters from your graveyard as material. Okay. If you use Fallen of Albaz fusion material from your hand, field, or by banishing yourself from the graveyard. Okay, so Fallen of Albaz is fused, and you can also banish from the graveyard. During the end phase, this card is in the graveyard because it's sent there to activate the effect of Fallen of Albaz. You can set this card. That's pretty good. Branded Bond, Fusion Gate. This is like some old school Yu-Gi-Oh GX stuff right here. Fusion Recycling Plant, also old school Yu-Gi-Oh GX. Fusion Substitute, Gold Sark, nice. Pot of Extravagance. What a world we live in where we have a common printing of Pot of Extravagance. That's like, what, $2 on the card market right now? Unreal. I bought my secret rare Pot of Extravagance at $30 each. Called by the Grave. Ooh, common Dark Ruler no more. You love to see it. You love to see it. Screams of the Branded. If a fusion monster was sent to your graveyard this turn, special summon one of your fusion monsters banished or in your graveyard during the end phase. Yeah. Jumping to the Branded. Necrofusion. This is a classic. Also a card I've been looking for. Back to the Front. This is how you revive Scythe in this deck. Warning Point is not bad. There can be only one. Tikaboo. Good card. Not in the current meta because unfortunately the top decks right now, like Prank Kids, whatever, can play around this. But in other metas, like the previous meta where we were like, had Sword Soul and like Burn Up, this card was amazing. D-Barrier. Oh, beautiful. You love to see it. Waking the Dragon is Gucci. Alright, now we have our fusions. Titanic Clad, Big Rand, Sprint the Iron Dash Dragon, Albion the Branded Dragon. This is the one that fuses by banishing materials. Yeah, so I think branded like the branded SP decks, they use this guy to make Dragoon using not Dark Magician but like one of the fusion sub monsters. And now we have a bunch of tokens. Albaz the Shrouded, Ecclesia the Exile. So are these two supposed to be like lovers or something? Yeah, this is clearly like, they're sitting together. Dude, when did Yu-Gi-Oh become such a weeb like anime, right? Where's the ancient Egypt stuff? Where are like the monster girls, the real monster girls? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are these like? These are like children, right? Anime children. Tri Brigade. Yeah, so all the frickin' beast monsters from the Virtuous Vessels. Not sure what that's about. Aluber the Dogmatic. Oh, is this Aluber before he became a gesture or after? Yeah, Luber is apparently like an anime anti-hero or something. Anyway, yeah, good, great structure deck. Really hard to say it's bad, or like it's really hard to beat this deck. I wonder if the next structure deck will be as good or better. My guess is not, because Konami doesn't usually like print. Whenever there's Konami giveth, Konami taketh away. If this structure deck is good, the next one must be. Oh, I forgot the other stuff in the box. Whoops. So, first of all, you have a structure deck with no Yu-Gi-Oh rulebook. How am I going to learn to play Yu-Gi-Oh without the rulebook, right? Unreal. Or is there a rulebook? Oh, there's a card list. Ooh. Ooh, look at this. So this tells you how to do combos. Yeah, and then tells you, oh, go by Burst of Destiny. Okay. Oh, and then the freaking lore. What is this? What is this? Lore. Lore? Story of a boy and a girl. Mere playthings of fate. So, this is what I don't understand. Why the F is Ecclesia a spellcaster and Albaz a dragon? They both look like warriors to me. Like, she's legit, like, Sky Striker Ace Ray, right? And even in her Dogmatica, like Dogmatica Ecclesia, she's wielding a freaking hammer, right? And this dude is a dragon. Or maybe he should be a spellcaster, because I don't know if he has a weapon. Whatever. But why is he a dragon? I don't get it. Oh, and then this nice little... Alright, I'm not gonna lie, this is really sick. I like the contrast, like with the blue and the red and the fire and the ice. Pretty cool. Good stuff, Konami. Good stuff. Yeah, I would definitely buy 3 of these for my nephews, right? My nephews are trying to get into Yu-Gi-Oh! I got them what is it? The Sacred Beast structure decks, right? But because this one hadn't come out yet. Sacred Beast structure deck is pretty solid, not gonna lie. Alright, here we go. Alright, should be the same cards. Let's see if any of these are nicked or factory defected. Nope. Oh, actually, this one has a small nick here at the top. See that? Right there. There's a tiny little nick. Unbelievable. Alright, and now for the final one. Should be the same cards. Nothing new here. But yeah, how are new players or people getting into the game with these structure decks expected to learn Yu-Gi-Oh if there's no rulebook, right? How are they going to learn? Nice playmats though. Oh, there was a little tab here in the middle. I didn't see that with the other ones. Alright, any factory defects here? Doesn't look like it. Alright, so this one is the cleanest one. Alright, cool. So let's get into the deck building process using these 3 structure decks. I'll even walk you through my thought process of why I chose the cards that I did. Yeah, it's relatively straightforward. So first, let's separate all the fusion monsters, right? Because I think it's pretty obvious that with in this deck here, that the best way to start is with the extra deck, because there's only X number of cards that can even go in the extra deck to begin with, right? So let's see what we have here. We have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 extra deck monsters, right? 6 extra deck monsters per structure deck, which means a grand total of 18. Unfortunately, our extra deck can only fit 15 extra deck monsters, right? So we're clearly going to cut some of these. these are all our extra deck cards, right? So obvious 3 ofs. 3 Mirror J the Ice Blade Dragon. It's the best boss monster in our deck. 3 Lubellions. Yep. Let's go with 3 of the Albions. The Albion is the dark counterpart of Lubellion, right? So I think that one is obvious. Alright, so we're at 9 right now, right? So I actually think 3 Titaniclad, the Ash Dragon, makes the most sense. So this is at 12. So either we cut one of these and go 3, or we do a 2-in-1 breakdown. This sprint is interesting. I don't know. I feel like maybe we should at least have one of each. Just for the option, right? Because this one can pop cards on the field once per turn. But only during your main phase. This one cannot be destroyed by battle. I'll add an extra Brigand. Only because it seems a little bit more versatile. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Alright, so that's our extra deck. So these will go away. Alright, now let's get into the main deck. I'm going to jump around a lot because, you know, there's some obvious things that we need to get out of the way, right? First things first, let's go into our hand traps. This deck came with a few hand traps, right? And we're basically going to get 3 copies of each. 3 copies of Ghost Ogre, 3 copies of Effect Veiler. Very straightforward. They're both pretty solid hand traps in the current format. Ghost Ogre is arguably slightly better than Veiler, but you know Veiler can be quite useful too. So these will be our hand traps. Next, for some obvious 3 of spells, we're gonna go ahead and grab. Well, first the 1 Called by the Grave, the 1 Gold Sark. These are the 1-ofs, and then 3 Pots of Extravagance. The fact that we have multiple copies of a lot of the our boss fusion monsters means that we probably won't banish all of the ones we need. Although there is always that possibility, right? So, bam, there we go. So, Pot of Extravagance, single Called by a single Gold Sark. They're just good cards. Hard to say no to them. Alright. Other obvious 3-ofs. Branded Fusion, right? This whole deck is built around Branded Fusion. I don't see any reason not to run all 3 of them. Bam, look at that. So put these here. On a similar note, we're going to go ahead and have 3 Fallen of Albaz. This is also a no-brainer, because Fallen of Albaz interacts with almost every card in this deck. There's no reason not to have 3 of them. Alright, there's a lot of good spell traps here. We do have a D barrier, right? Which should be a main deck, or at the very least a side deck, in my opinion. Should we do a side deck in this deck? Probably. Let's see how far we go with the main deck first. I think it's reasonable to have at least 1 Fleur-de-Lis. Right? This card is great. It's a free special summon if there's an extra deck monster. Like, it's a 2500 beater, right? So at least 1 of these. I want to say at least 1 of the Albion Dragons. Probably at least 1 Scythe. Starting to think that Spriggan's Kit, after reading it, is probably a 3-of, right? Because if you have a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz, material on your field or in your graveyard, special summon. So this is really a pretty free special summon. And then you can add a brand new spell trap, banished. Yeah, I think this is an obvious 3-of. We probably want at least 1 of every major branded spell trap. Because branded spell traps are searchable in this deck, we probably want at least 1 of each. If it has branded in its name, we probably want at least 1 of them. Of course, we can judge what they actually do in a second. So Branded White is basically a polymerization, right? That can fuse from the graveyard by banishing. So this one's definitely staying. Branded Loss is basically Magical Meltdown. This Judgment of the Branded doesn't look so good. I think I'll cut it. It like destroys all opponent's monsters that are stronger than like your fusion monsters. But your fusion monsters are pretty strong, so don't really see this coming up that often, right? Alright, so let's take one of each. So these are one-ofs. So let's think about some of the other, so we're at 31, we have 9 cards left. Let's think about some of the other techs, right? So cards that are pretty good, but maybe should be side decked, are as follows. Alright, so these are 3-ofs of cards that are really good for either main deck or side deck. So one thing I'll say is that we probably don't want more than one type of kaiju. So I would get rid of the Thunder King kaiju, and I would put this in the side deck. In fact, we might construct our side deck right here. Dark Ruler No More is a side deck card. Wait, do we have our side deck here? 5 times 3 is 15. Maybe, hey guys, I think we maybe just have our side deck right here, right? Because Tikaboo, like our deck can play Tikaboo, but it's not good against every matchup, right? D-Barrier, same. It depends on, very matchup dependent. So why don't we say this? Let's say that this here is our side deck. 15 cards, we have our side deck. Yeah, we have monster removal, we have board negate, we have floodgate, we have, we have our side deck. Bam, right there. Alright, so we still have 9 cards left. So what are we going to do for the last 9 cards? So back to the front is a way that we can revive Artifact Scythe. Right, so maybe we want 3 of these. Worst case, if we don't use this to revive Scythe, we could literally like use this to revive one of our boss monsters, right? So it's perfectly fine, I think, to main deck 3 of these. I think it'll be useful no matter what. I'm starting to think this Mail Carrier might be required 3 of. It's pretty good. Like, best case, it's a hand trap monster negate. Worst case is fusion material. Necrofusion and Warning Point. Those are very interesting cards. Let's go back to our side deck because there can be only one is pretty good going first or second, right? So maybe I move these into the main deck and then I could do 3 Warning Points in the side deck, right? Yeah, let's try that because Warning Point is way more of a side deck card than there can be only one. Like, yeah, it doesn't do much to prank kids, but you know, it can hit other decks and it can fit into this deck fairly nicely. So let's put there can be only one Branded Retribution here. Alright, so there you have it. A playable and pretty, not actually quite competitive 40 card main deck with 15 card extra deck and 15 card side deck. I think you can actually, you know, start, you know, playing this at your locals and do pretty decently, not gonna lie. So we've got 3 Albaz, 3 Spriggan's Kit, 3 Mercuriers, 1 Gold Sword Soul, 2 Fleur de Lis, 1 Albion, 1 Scythe. By the way, Scythe can be sent to the graveyard via Branded Fusion. 3 Ghost Ogres, 3 Veilers, 1 Called By, 1 Gold Sark, 3 Extravagance, 3 Branded Fusion, 1 Branded Bond, Branded Lost, Branded White, Branded Sword, Screens with Branded, back to the front. 3 of them, and 3 Tikaboo and 1 Branded Retribution, which rounds out at 40. Pretty neat structure deck. You're getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh? Buy 3 of these. You will not regret it. Plenty of variety upgrade opportunities here, and of course, you have enough of a core that if you want to go ahead and buy an actual like tournament-winning top-tier branded Despia deck, you can. All right, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned something. See you in the next video. Peace.